Harold, at the age of 68, stepped into my life one fateful day. A seasoned veteran of the Navy, forged in resilience, with 3 heart surgeries etched into his story. He locked his gaze onto mine and declared, "Doc, I've scaled peaks, navigated tempests, yet nothing has equipped me for this. I no longer feel like a man. I can't recall the last time desire stirred it within me." His words hung in the air, heavy with the weight of a secret shared. Let me share with you the reality. Many physicians may not share this information with you. As the years pass, it's important to remember that diminishing desire isn't an inevitable chapter in the tale of aging. It serves as a cautionary note, a message from within that indicates an imbalance is at play. And the most disheartening aspect is that many men endure it quietly. They yield without resistance. That comes to a close today. Allow me to introduce myself. I am Dr. James. Doctor. For more than 3 decades, I have dedicated myself to the realm of men's health, guiding countless men over the age of 60 to reclaim their vitality, their self-assurance, and indeed their passion. The revelations I've encountered on this journey have truly astonished me. It transcends mere testosterone levels or the use of pills. It's a journey to rediscover and take charge of 5 neglected realms of your existence. Many individuals remain unaware that these 5 straightforward, natural adjustments, overlooked for years, hold the secret to rekindling passion, rebuilding bonds, and awakening enthusiasm once more. Ah, the twist of fate. Each man who ultimately grasps these truths echoes the same sentiment. Why was I not informed of this 2 decades past? Prepared to embark on a journey through the precise methods I've shared with men in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s, guiding them to reclaim intimacy, vitality, and a sense of manhood. And the most wonderful thing is the hour is still ripe. Before I unveil the 5 secrets, let me share the tale of what Harold did next. For it was an event that transformed the very fabric of existence. Harold wore an expression of defeat that day, not due to a lack of ability, but rather because he sensed a profound invisibility within his marriage, within his own skin, and even when gazing into the mirror. He assured me I remain right here. Yet I find myself feeling like a stranger in my own skin. I shared with Harold a tale I've recounted to countless others before him. Yearning remains vibrant, untouched by the passage of time. It withers away when we neglect to nourish it. And so I posed a single question to him. When did you last reach out to your wife simply to connect without any thought of what you might gain from it? He averted his gaze. I can't recall. And so our journey began right there, not through a pill, nor via a lab test, but through a long-lost truth waiting to be rediscovered. The first secret unfolds. Desire ignites within the heart and mind, rather than in the confines of the bedroom. Ah, the image of Harold in that chair lingers in my mind, vivid and clear. With shoulders hunched and weary eyes, the voice emerged softly, almost a whisper. His battles extended beyond the physical realm. He bore a weight far greater. The heavy hush of unspoken words, the relentless march of time, the sensation of being an outsider within his own body and the confines of his marriage. He shared with me, "Oh, it's not merely that I lack desire now. It's as if I've forgotten the sensation of wanting." And those words lingered in my mind, for what Harold expressed in that moment was not uncommon. It was a tale all too familiar. I've listened to the tales of former athletes, veterans, factory workers, and retired engineers, men who once roamed the world with an unyielding spirit, men who remain robust, yet have been conditioned to think their longing has a time limit. I shared with Harold a truth that resonates deeply within me. Your desire remains vibrant even as the years pass. It diminishes as the bond you share with your emotions weakens, particularly the one you hold with your own self. He blinked, as if the thought had never crossed his mind before. In our society, there exists a tendency to mold men into beings of physical prowess above all else. Attend to the plumbing, secure the bolts, refresh the oil. When we sense that something is amiss, our instinct leads us to the most apparent origin, the body. Yet the reality unfolds that desire begins within the realms of the mind. It starts with the awareness of being acknowledged, the experience of the moment, and the reminder that your desires still hold value. On that day, I chose not to provide Harold with a prescription. I presented him with a notebook. I suggested each morning jot down 3 things. First, note something you're grateful for. Next, capture something you admire in your life. Finally, write about something small, yet significant, that makes you proud of yourself. Then share one of these aloud each day. He seemed a bit confused. "Do you believe that will improve my performance in bed?" "No," I replied. "I believe this journey will guide you back to your true self, and that's the foundation of it all." Just a few days later, he reached out. At the beginning, he had stumbled through it. He shared with his wife how much he cherished the sound of her laughter when she found her own jokes amusing, and he expressed his gratitude for her thoughtful habit of always ensuring his socks were paired just right. Initially, she merely nodded, but by the 4th or 5th day, her voice began to emerge. Her fingers brushed against his arm. She paused in the kitchen, savoring the moment. Her smile blossomed more often. What Harold came to understand, a truth often missed by many, is that intimacy cannot simply be activated like a light switch when the bedroom door shuts. It's a tapestry woven from the smallest of moments. It emerges from the cadence of your voice, the presence you bring, the focus you offer. Above all, it revolves around your perception of self. In moments when a man grapples with the weight of shame regarding his body, when he perceives himself as having crossed the threshold of his prime, when he feels the flicker of vitality has dimmed, he withdraws from the world around him. He ceases to take the first step. And in time, he comes to accept the emptiness as a part of life's narrative. Yet it is not. It was never meant to be. And so, it was within a month that Harold noticed the winds of change beginning to stir. He experienced a deeper bond. He experienced a vibrant surge of life within him. He strode with a newfound confidence. His eyes sparkled with a newfound brilliance. Once more, a lightheartedness danced in his voice. On a quiet evening, he recalled how his wife nestled close to him on the couch. Silence envelops radiating comfort. It had been ages since he experienced that sensation. He told me, "I thought it was over. I thought I had to accept it, but I was just lost. Not broken, just lost." And that's what I want every man over 60 to understand. Your desire doesn't leave you. It just waits for you to come back. And when you do, when you reconnect with who you are, who your partner is, and what intimacy really means, it comes rushing back like a tide that never truly left the shore. This is just the beginning. Because while mindset and emotional connection are the spark, there's another hidden killer that drains libido every single day. And most men are putting it on their plates without even realizing it. What Harold learned next at the grocery store shocked him. And if you're eating like most men your age, it might be silently shutting down your drive too. Let's talk about that. Secret number 2, the silent libido killer lurking on your plate. When Harold and I met again a few weeks after he started reconnecting with his wife, I noticed something different about him. His posture had changed. He looked lighter, more grounded, even a little younger. But he was frustrated. "I feel more there, more present with her," he said. "But the physical part, it still isn't clicking." That's when I asked him a question that caught him off guard. "What did you eat for breakfast this morning?" He chuckled. "Same thing I always eat. Toast coffee, a slice of bacon, maybe a muffin if it's there." I nodded. "And lunch? Turkey sandwich, some chips, soda." I paused, then said something that many men his age have never been told. "Harold, your plate is quietly working against you." He looked at me confused. I explained to him what I've seen over and over in my 30-plus years of practice. The modern diet is one of the biggest, most overlooked reasons men lose their desire. Not just their energy or their waistlines, but the very chemical signals that drive sexual vitality. Every bite we take is either feeding that fire or smothering it. What Harold didn't know, and what most men don't, is that the foods we're told are convenient or harmless are often loaded with additives, seed oil, sugars, and chemical preservatives that wreak havoc on male hormones. These ingredients spike inflammation, throw insulin out of balance, and gradually chip away at testosterone production. It doesn't happen all at once. It's a slow erosion. I told Harold about a patient I had named Lewis. He was 74 and had come in with similar issues. Low energy, no libido, and frustration that his workouts weren't doing much. I asked him to keep a food diary. Turned out he was eating healthy cereals, low-fat yogurt margarine, and drinking diet sodas every day. These so-called health foods were destroying his endocrine system. No one had told him that real vitality comes from real food. So with Harold, we made some simple swaps. Instead of processed toast, he switched to pasture-raised eggs cooked in olive oil. He added half an avocado and a handful of berries. We cut the soda completely and replaced it with water, and later a little beet juice for natural nitric oxide support. Sandwiches became grilled chicken with leafy greens. Bacon gone, replaced with wild-caught salmon twice a week. At first, he thought it sounded like a punishment, but after just 2 weeks, something shifted. I woke up before the alarm. He told me one morning, surprised. I didn't need 2 cups of coffee. I wasn't dragging. A few days after that, he told me something even more powerful. I felt it again. That feeling I used to get in the middle of the day, like my body had energy, like I wanted something. That spark, that urge isn't random. It's chemical. When your body isn't inflamed and bogged down by sugar, refined oils, or hidden toxins, it becomes clear, responsive, and alive again. You can feel it in your skin, your mind, your movements, and yes, in your sex drive. What's even more exciting is that it doesn't take years to feel the difference. In many cases, just a few days of shifting your diet can open the floodgates. I've seen men go from flat and foggy to alert and aroused in under a week simply by removing the quiet killers from their meals. Harold started calling it his fuel plan, and he took pride in it. Every trip to the grocery store became a way to invest in his future, his strength, his presence, his connection with his wife. Food became a form of self-respect, not just fuel. And with every clean bite, he was telling his body, I'm still in this. What most people won't tell you is this. After 60, every bite matters more. Your body becomes less tolerant of toxins and more responsive to nourishment. This is the age when quality wins over quantity. When real food can literally bring you back to life. Harold's story isn't unique. I've seen it happen hundreds of times. Men just like you, strong, proud, hardworking, who never realized their kitchen was quietly stealing their passion. But once that changes, a man feels different. He carries himself with quiet power. His touch returns. His eyes meet his partner's with new purpose. And when that happens, something unexpected opens up. Because once the body is aligned and the mind is clear, there's one final piece that can trigger a dramatic rise in natural desire. It only takes 2 minutes a day, and it's so simple, most men laugh when they first hear it. But once they try it, they stop laughing. Let me show you what it is. Secret number 3. The 2-minute ritual that reawakens desire. I've lost count of how many times I've heard a man say, "Doc, I just don't feel like myself anymore." And when I ask what they mean, it's rarely just about sex. It's about feeling slow, disconnected, dulled, like their fire has gone out. And for a lot of them, that loss feels permanent. That's how Harold described it too. By now, he had already started making progress. His relationship with his wife was warmer. He was more emotionally present. His diet had shifted and he was feeling clearer, even waking up with more natural energy. But something still wasn't fully lighting up. "I'm still not getting that charge. You know," he said, like, the feeling you get when you're ready, not just mentally, but physically, like your body wants to move, wants to act. And I knew exactly what he was talking about, because desire doesn't just live in the mind or the heart. It also lives in the blood, in the pulse, in the oxygen pumping through your muscles and brain. And most importantly, it lives in motion. The truth is, most older men think you need to spend an hour at the gym to get your energy back. So when they can't, they give up. But what they don't realize is that your body doesn't need long, punishing workouts. It needs consistency. It needs a spark. That's when I taught Harold a little routine I've given to dozens of my patients. A 2-minute ritual that I personally do every single morning. I call it a wake-up for your hormones. It's simple. Yeah, it's quick. And it sends a very clear signal to your body. I'm still alive and I'm still ready. Harold was skeptical. 2 minutes, that's it. That's it, I told him. But you have to do it every day. The first morning, I had him start with 10 slow, deep breaths, expanding his belly with each inhale. Most of us forget how to breathe deeply, especially when we're stressed. But deep breathing triggers your parasympathetic nervous system. It calms the mind and reduces cortisol, the hormone that kills both desire and sleep. After the breaths, I had him do 20 slow squats. No weights, just steady body movement. Feet shoulder width apart, spine tall. Every time he rose up, he was pushing blood through his lower body, exactly where blood flow needs to improve for a strong libido. Then I had him finish with 1 minute of shadow boxing. Not to fight, not to win, just to move. Light punches in the air, letting his shoulders and chest activate. His heart beat a little faster. His testosterone released like the body was saying, "Yes, I remember this." At the end of the second day, Harold called me. He was out of breath, laughing. "I haven't thrown a punch since the 70s, he said, but I kind of loved it." By the end of the week, his whole posture had changed. He stood taller. His voice had a different tone. He told me he started doing the routine before he even brushed his teeth because he liked the way it made him feel afterward. That lightness, that clarity, it stayed with him all day. And the best part, his wife noticed. "You seem more alive," she told him. He hadn't heard that in years. That's the beauty of this ritual. It doesn't just work the body. It sharpens your confidence, your presence, your masculinity. It's a reminder to yourself and to the world around you that you're still in the game. There's real science behind it too. Gentle, consistent physical movement boosts nitric oxide, supports healthy testosterone levels, and improves blood flow, especially where it matters most. It also reawakens your connection to your own body, which is something many men lose as they get older. But once that bond is rebuilt, it starts showing up in every part of your life. I've had patients tell me they feel their balance coming back, that they start walking with purpose again. One man even told me, "I don't know what it is, Doc, but my wife keeps giving me these little looks again." That's not an accident. That's energy. That's presence. That's what happens when you remind your body every day that it was made for more than just sitting still and fading away. Harold never missed a day after that first week. He said it gave him something to be proud of, something he controlled. And that's what makes this ritual so powerful. It's not just about movement. It's about reclaiming rhythm, routine, and confidence. But even with that daily charge, there's one factor that can crush all progress if left unspoken. It's not physical, it's not hormonal, it's something deeper, something that affects millions of older men but rarely gets addressed. And it might be the most unexpected libido killer of them all. Let's talk about it next. Secret number 4. Loneliness is a libido killer. The first time I realized how deeply loneliness affects a man's desire, it wasn't in a lab or a textbook. It was in my office on a rainy Wednesday afternoon. A patient named Richard, 76 years old, sat across from me. He looked healthy enough on paper. Normal labs, decent mobility, no major complaints. But when I asked how he was really doing, his eyes welled up. "I go whole days without speaking to anyone," he said. "Sometimes I forget what my own voice sounds like." That kind of silence, prolonged invisible aching, is one of the most dangerous forces I've seen in older men. It remains hidden from scans. It doesn't arrive with a fever or a rash, but rather, it quietly infiltrates your essence, gradually suffocating the vibrant parts of you that once thrived, including your yearning. Many believe that desire revolves around hormones or the act itself. That's merely a fragment of the tale. At the heart of it all lies a profound reality. These of intimacy, connection, and sexual vitality is woven with the threads of deep emotional experiences. They are intertwined with the essence of feeling acknowledged, cherished, and connected, reaching beyond the physical to the depths of emotional resonance. And when those fragments are absent, the whole being succumbs. Even a vibrant heart may find it difficult to pulse with fervor when ensnared by solitude. Harold, having journeyed so far, encountered yet another formidable barrier. He had rekindled the bond with his wife, transformed his eating habits, and dedicated himself to his daily 2-minute ritual. Yet on a particular day, he entered with a hush that felt different from his usual presence. A sense of unease lingered in the air. When I inquired about it, he merely shrugged his shoulders, a gesture that spoke volumes. "She has ventured away, spending time with our daughter." The stillness of the house took me by surprise. It seems I've grown accustomed to the clamor around me. In that moment, a realization washed over me. Harold felt a profound absence that went beyond the mere loss of his wife. He found himself yearning for the warmth of connection, the comfort of companionship, the richness of conversation, and the guiding light of purpose. In just a matter of days, the familiar shadow began to seep back into the corners of solitude. I shared with him a truth I've embraced wholeheartedly. Loneliness transcends mere emotion. It manifests as a kind of tension. In the shadows of chronic emotional isolation, the body responds by unleashing cortisol, the chief messenger of stress within us. As time unfolds, cortisol weaves a tale of suppression on testosterone, disturbs the rhythm of sleep, stirs the fires of inflammation, and dulls the vibrant hues of emotional sensitivity, each a vital thread in the fabric of a healthy sex drive. It's truly disheartening that so many have been taught to overlook this suffering. You've learned to endure, to keep your struggles to yourself, to maintain a brave face. Yet what we often perceive as strength can at times lead us down the path of self-neglect. Yet there comes a point when the body can endure only so much of that strain. Thus a plan was crafted. I invited Harold to select only 2 social connections to nurture over the coming month. Not 10, merely 2. 1 companion and 1 collective. He selected an old Navy friend, a figure from his past whom he hadn't connected with in years, to join him in a local community garden project that his wife had casually mentioned long ago. Initially, it struck him as rather absurd. "What connection does a garden have with desire?" he inquired. Yet, as the days turned into 3 weeks, the truth became unmistakably clear. "I forgot what it feels like to laugh with someone," he shared with me. "Just being out there digging in the dirt and cracking jokes, I felt like I belonged again." That feeling, that sense of belonging, ignited a spark within him. His spirit soared, his dialogues with his wife grew richer and more profound, his whole presence transformed, and above all, his longing returned with even greater intensity. It was not due to a mere supplement, but rather the release of the emotional burden that had long been pressing upon him finally set free. Time and again, this pattern reveals itself to me. It resembles a well-crafted blueprint. Once upon a time, a man found himself retreating into solitude. As the weight of his worries grows heavier, a tempest brews within him. The tides of his body shift, robbing him of restful nights, and dimming the once bright spark of his desires, while an oppressive silence envelops him like a thick fog. Yet in those moments of reconnection, even the slightest touch can awaken the body. Blood pressure finds its harmony. Hormones dance in balance. Moods lift like the dawn, and the door to intimacy gently creaks open once more. One need not take center stage at every gathering. All you truly seek is to be acknowledged. As you find yourself here, perhaps reflecting on the distance you've created between yourself and others, I invite you to take that first small step forward. Reach out to a friend from the past, or immerse yourself in a community that resonates with your passions. Offer your time and skills to help others. Seek out a space where you can be among others, where the only expectation is to simply exist together, free from any pressure. For it is the bond that transcends mere ease. It's a remedy for your heart, your body, and your deepest longings. Now that you grasp the profound influence of your surroundings and feelings on desire, we stand on the brink of our final journey. For there lies one final secret, perhaps the most astonishing of them all. It is not about mending or bringing anything back to its former state. In truth, it revolves around welcoming an aspect that many men often seek to evade. And once you grasp this shift in perspective, the rest of the pieces align seamlessly. Allow me to unveil the tale that awaits. Secret number 5. View aging as a source of sexual strength, not a sign of deterioration. It was a few months into our collaboration when I found myself seated across from Harold, the memories of that moment still vivid in my mind. At that moment, he had undergone a remarkable transformation. He embraced a new way of eating, engaged in daily movement, took deeper breaths, fostered a more open connection with his wife, and dedicated a few mornings each week to volunteering at a community garden. The man who had once entered my office, cloaked in shame and disconnection, now radiated with energy in his voice and purpose in his stride. Yet on that day, he appeared contemplative, teetering on the edge of uncertainty. "Doc," he uttered with a measured cadence, "why didn't I embark on all these adventures when I was younger?" The question carried a weight of nostalgia, a whisper of unfulfilled dreams. It's a tale I've encountered from numerous souls, and I understood his emotions perfectly. One might think that passion, closeness, and energy are the exclusive domain of youth, that as the hair turns silver and the body transforms, we are merely on a path to decline. It is that insidious belief, the one that softly murmurs, "You've missed your moment," that ensnares so many capable souls in a web of stagnation. So I shared with Harold the same tale I have recounted to every man who's ever posed that familiar question. "Harold, you did not falter, you transformed." There exists a tale woven into the fabric of our lives, suggesting that youth reigns supreme. That vigor, ambition, and endurance define the essence of manhood. Yet the passage of time does not diminish your strength. It polishes it. As the years unfold, one discovers the art of patience, the gift of presence, the treasure of wisdom, and a profound comprehension of the true essence of intimacy. In our youth, the dance of intimacy often unfolds with a whirlwind of spontaneity and fervor. As we journey through life, the experiences we gather can become profoundly emotional, spiritually enriching, and deeply connective if we allow ourselves to embrace them. And here's the twist that will leave you astonished. For numerous men, the experience of intimacy after reaching 60 can indeed improve. Not in spite of the passage of time, but as a result of it. As Harold released the grip of the past, shedding the notion that intimacy must mirror the experiences of his 40s, he began to uncover a new source of joy, one that was entirely unexpected. The exchanged looks that spark across a room, the gentle touch resting on the small of the back, the serene moments in bed where silence speaks volumes. He had moved beyond the pursuit of performance. He was bestowing gifts. And thus the course of events was forever altered. On a quiet evening, his wife spoke words that stirred deep emotions within him, almost bringing him to tears. She expressed, "It's not about wanting you to reclaim your youth. I simply desire your presence, and you are here." That is the moment I hope every man can experience. For genuine sexual vitality, it's not about reaching an ideal state of perfection. It revolves around embracing connection, finding comfort in your own being, and sharing your complete essence. Scars, wisdom, and heart with your partner, free from shame or apology. Harold started to perceive aging not as a gradual decline, but as a transformation into a different kind of resilience, one grounded not in the vigor of youth, but in the essence of authenticity. His yearning emerged from a wellspring of self-assurance untouched by any external demands. And in that newfound assurance, he stumbled upon an experience unlike any he had ever known. an intimacy that transcended mere performance, rooted instead in love presence and a profound, silent understanding. When men cease their battle against age and begin to welcome its gifts, a wondrous transformation unfolds. As the weight of stress dissipates and the urge to compare diminishes, a man finds himself returning to a place of authenticity and connection where he can embrace both himself and his partner in a manner that is rooted, sincere, and profoundly satisfying. Should you carry away a single lesson from all that I've recounted, let it be this: the passage of time is not a foe to your aspirations. It stands as a threshold to its greatest potential. Yet the decision to step beyond it lies solely in your hands. Having shared with you the 5 secrets that transformed Harold's life and the lives of countless men I've guided you, may find yourself pondering what comes next. How do you weave all of this into a tapestry that endures? In the concluding chapter, we will delve into that very topic. For true transformation, mere knowledge is not enough. It arises from the act of selection. And as we reach the end, allow me to unveil the first true step, the one that holds the greatest significance. In the end, growing older does not equate to diminishing passion. It signifies reviving it. Once upon a time, Harold stepped into my office for a routine follow-up. He donned a weathered leather jacket, a relic from days long past, one he hadn't slipped into for many years. He appeared polished, at ease, with a hint of playful mischief in his demeanor. "Have you ever noticed something amusing, my friend?" he said. "I thought this part of my life was over. Turns out, it was just waiting for me to show back up. That's what this journey has been about. Not rewinding the clock, not pretending to be who we were at 35, but finally becoming who we were meant to be at this age. Strong, clear, connected, and fully alive. If you've made it this far, you've seen what Harold discovered for himself, and what I've seen again and again in the lives of the men I've served for over 3 decades. The decline in desire that so many older men experience isn't inevitable. It's not some cruel joke of biology. It's a wake-up call, a quiet, persistent nudge saying, you've got more living to do, but you've got to approach it differently now. Let's pause for a moment and look back at what really matters. The first thing we talked about was the mind. That was no accident. Because for most men, the slow fade in libido doesn't start in the body. It starts in the thoughts, the quiet doubts, the comparisons to who you once were, the shame that creeps in when desire disappears. That's why Harold's transformation began not with medication, but with morning reflections reminding himself of what he loved, who he loved, and what still made him feel alive. That small shift rewired everything. Then we moved to food. Because as you age, what you put on your plate matters more than ever. It can either energize you or drain you. It can support testosterone or sabotage it. Harold didn't go on a diet. He simply started eating like a man who respected his body again. Real food, clean fuel. He cut out the hidden saboteurs, sugar-processed oils, chemical-laced snacks, and within days, his body began to respond. Not just with more energy, but with that quiet internal yes that tells you desire is waking up again. After that, we brought in the body, not with heavy workouts or punishing routines, but with a 2-minute ritual that reminded Harold's muscles and blood vessels and brain that he was still here, still capable, still powerful. Every squat, every breath, every light punch into the air became a message. I'm not finished yet. That daily movement did more than get his heart pumping. It gave him ownership of his body again. It brought him back into rhythm. But then came the unexpected peace, loneliness. The part most men don't talk about. The part we're trained to overlook, but it's real and it's deadly. I've seen men with perfect numbers on paper still feel empty inside because they've cut themselves off from friends, from their partners, from any sense of belonging. Harold's story reminded us that connection isn't optional. It's essential. That a conversation over coffee, a laugh in the garden, or a phone call to an old buddy can change your hormone profile more than most pills ever could. And finally, we talked about mindset. Not just in terms of thoughts, but how you see your age, your body, your role in intimacy. Too many men carry the belief that growing older is a process of becoming invisible. But it's not. If anything, this stage of life offers something youth never could. Ever. Perspective, depth, confidence that comes not from chasing approval, but from knowing who you are. Harold stopped trying to perform and started showing up. That shift in how he saw himself, that's what turned the spark into a flame. So what? Now this isn't just about Harold. This is about you. About every man who's ever looked in the mirror and wondered if he's still allowed to feel desire, still capable of giving and receiving intimacy, still worthy of being touched, not just by someone else, but by life itself. Let me be absolutely clear with you. Yes, you are. The path back to vitality isn't complicated, but it does require something rare in today's world. Intentional living. Choosing each day to do the things that bring your body and mind back into alignment. Choosing to nourish, move, breathe, connect, and reframe. Not out of desperation, but out of respect for yourself, for your partner, for the life you still get to lead. I've worked with men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s, who have reignited their marriages, started new relationships, found peace with their bodies, and rediscovered passions they thought were gone forever. Some of them did it slowly. Some of them leapt forward like they'd been waiting for permission. But all of them had one thing in common. They refused to believe that getting older meant giving up. You might be one step away from feeling that again. One deep breath, one honest conversation, one walk around the block, one better meal, one call to someone who matters, one act of courage that says, I'm not done. The 5 secrets we've uncovered aren't just tools. There are invitations. Invitations to return to your body, to your relationships, to your confidence, and to the part of you that still longs to live fully, love deeply, and touch the world around you with presence and purpose. So don't let this just be something you read. Let it be the beginning of something you reclaim. Because aging doesn't mean losing desire. It means you've earned the right to rediscover it with deeper meaning, fuller heart, and wiser hands. And if Harold could do it, so can you. If this message spoke to you or reminded you of someone you care about, don't keep it to yourself. Give it a like, share it with a friend, and help more men rediscover the strength, intimacy, and energy they still carry inside. It's never too late to turn things around. Sometimes all it takes is one story to light the spark.